I'm going to do something that I don't often do, or I don't think I've even ever done on my channel, but I'm going to recreate a look because this look has been sitting with me for a couple of days and I'm obsessed with it and I haven't stopped thinking about it. It's this image from a photo shoot that Chappell Roan did with Paper Magazine. The makeup was done here by Donnie Davy and was assisted by Gabrielle Alvarez. I'll link both of them down below on Instagram. If you're not familiar with Donnie Davy, she did the makeup for Euphoria and she's actually been doing Chappell's makeup throughout the festival seasons. Like she's been doing her makeup for a while now. She's also the owner of Half Magic Beauty. So if you're familiar with that brand, that's who owns the brand. But let's just kind of jump into it. I think first things first, I had to be topless because Chappell is, I think, wearing like a dress, but like, I don't have a tube top. So I think the next thing that's important to do is I'm going to want to prime my skin. But because it looks like she has white makeup on all the way down, that also could be the lighting too, because I do see some, I have my reference image right over here. I do see some like pigment to Chappell's skin, but she's like really blown out, which I think was mostly done in editing, the blowout. But Chappell often wears white makeup, so I think I'm still gonna choose to do like a white base. But I have a feeling that it's not going to be full coverage enough to like really cover up all of the things. So I'm going to like just use the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base and I'm going to like from here like down to my titties just do it because I don't normally put makeup on this part of my body and I don't know, like my skincare is different neck down than it is neck up. So like this part of my body isn't like always prepped for makeup. Like I feel like most of the time I probably don't actually need primer for my face, but I do think my skin's gonna need it. We're off to a great start. I can't find it. Okay, I found it. So we're just gonna start with a generous amount of this. The look is really matte, so I will be using like powder on the other end of things. But I just think that based on the kind of makeup we're doing, I'm gonna need as much help as I can. I'm gonna be using like, ooh, I just hit pan. This kind of like professional makeup. It's not like what I'm normally doing. Like it's not makeup that I feel like has any desire or want to be kind to the skin. So we're just gonna take that into account right now. And now, because we are painting ourselves very fair, I think that a lot of like my imperfections, like my redness and such, need to be taken down before we start applying the white foundation. So actually all over my face to kind of blink it out, I'm going to be using this Chanel color corrector, but any color corrector would do. And like, this is like me theorizing. Like, I'm not sure that this is something that they would actually do, but I think it's a good place to start. Just trying to make sure everything's even before we're putting like something very stark over it. And like, I'm going to be using water activated makeup today. If I was using cream makeup, I think I would maybe not feel so compelled to do this. But I just noticed today, I just took a selfie like right before filming and I was really red. So I just kind of like wanted to get that under control before we get started. I'm not a professional makeup artist, by the way. I'm just an enthusiast. So don't take what I'm saying here as like gospel for this kind of makeup. I also think that Donnie also has been posting like how she achieved some of these looks on her Instagram. I'm assuming most of it is like half magic stuff, maybe like minus the complexion makeup. You know what's so funny is my teeth are gonna look so yellow when this look is done, which is probably why Chappell's mouth is closed. Also, on my lips, this is a new product. It's from Edem, E-A-D-E-M. They've asked if they could send me this lip softening balm. This is the shade Boba Bounce, and I like it so far. It is the first time I put it on. I think the only thing I have to critique about it thus far is the formula is really thick and doesn't really like love to come out of that packaging so far, but that was my first attempt. But it did come in from like the hot weather outside, so I don't know. I used to have a Krylon TV paint stick, but I like gave that to a friend who does drag because I don't do this kind of stuff that often, which again, like I know I already said that, but like I can't emphasize enough, like even in my free time, I'm not doing this kind of like really intense kind of makeup. So I will be using a Krylon. This is their water activated like colors. This is their Aqua palette 18 colors basic. I have a feeling we're going to use most of that white today because we're covering such a large surface, but you do thin it out. I'm going to be using just a setting spray because I don't feel like getting water. I've talked about Chappell a couple times on my channel, and I feel like I've gotten some of you into her. I got into Chappell right before, well, I would say like a couple months before the debut album came out. My roommate and best friend, Tiff, have been listening to Chappell for a couple of years, and one of our mutual friends who lives in New York City has been a big fan of Chappell for a very long time. And I think that's how Tiff initially found out about her. Her rise has been like more and more meteoric. It's like notable for a couple of reasons, I feel. So when I think of like really prominent queer musicians, I feel like oftentimes it's men. Like, not to say that there haven't been lesbian artists, but like it does feel that like what Chappell is bringing to the table is just like the next level of it. Because when I think of like lesbian artists, it's like, you know, it's giving very like Lilith Fair in my brain, and like that's not really what's happening here. Like, we obviously have had people like Tegan and Sarah, and obviously I guess we have JoJo Siwa trying really hard to make make fetch happen for herself. But I really feel as though like Chappell's really laying the groundwork for something just really, really, really special. The first song of hers that I really got into was Hot to Go, which was a single before the album. And then I kind of went back and listened to like songs like Red Wine Supernova and Casual, which Casual was the one that I think got Tiff into Chappell because they used to sing it like all the time. And now I get it. But whenever they first got into Chappell, I was kind of like, what is this? And I think also just like Chappell's music is pretty just distinct and unique. Like, there's not a lot of people writing songs like her. I do feel like vocally she has some like mannerisms similar to Kate Bush and Marina. What's interesting about someone like Marina, though, who is just like I'm using for comparison, Marina's quirky voice has kind of like changed. I think her voice is still quirky, but she doesn't do as much of that like vocal kind of like yodel thing that I feel like Chappell is doing right now. And not that I'm wishing it away, but we'll see if that persists. I know that Marina like said that she really learned how to sing between the Electra Heart era and Fruit era. And that's like also the kind of time where you can tell that like she's not doing all of like the quirks. And that was to protect her voice. So, and I'm not saying that whatever Chappell's doing is like harming her voice. I'm just saying like from what I've heard from other artists who have had similar sounds at their start, like that's a point of concern. I think that we're getting the right amount of white because, as I said, there is still some like peachy pigment coming through, but we'll also probably set this with like white eyeshadow is my intention to make it more stark. And I am going to like take photos, obviously, of this look after. I'm not normally very, very good about taking photos and just post them on Instagram. I have a feeling since I'm going to spend a lot of time on this look, because I think actually the thing that's going to take the most time is this part. Like the part that we're actively doing is like making my body as white as I possibly can with minimal materials to do this kind of thing. I am looking at myself in the monitor just to see, because sometimes I think what I see in real life and what the monitor catches aren't always in agreement. So sometimes I feel like I say stuff and I'm like, that's not what they see. I feel like the gay community is like really galvanized by what Chappell has done. And like her rise has been like really meteoric. I don't know all of her lore, so I'm not going to try to like sit up here and proclaim that I do. But her album came out and like I think it did, well. It was like an indie release. And like the people who knew about her were really diehard. And then she was an opener for Olivia Rodrigo. And that just raised her status even more. Then she released Good Luck, Babe. And I just feel like we're on a trajectory that like couldn't be stopped if anyone wanted it to. I don't think any of us really do. I don't think we do. And I don't think Chappell does either. She actually headlined I live in Pittsburgh, for those of you who might be just like clicking through. She headlined our Pride Festival. She sounded so excited that she like this was her first headlining gig. And it was very, very cute. And it was also very fun. I don't know how we managed to get her. And I have a feeling a lot of you are probably like, my Pittsburgh pride. I just think that whoever was running that was really on the pulse. And like, I swear, like, probably got her for it, like, literally right before everything really started popping off for Chappell, like, in a real way. And now her songs are starting to chart. So like Good Luck Babe is charting. Fingers crossed that the white eyeshadow really pulls it together for us because we need that. We need that because it's just kind of like inconsistent on my skin so far. And normally I use this to like kind of like face paint if I'm gonna use this kind of thing, but you know, we're doing a little more than that. So if you're here, when did you get into Chappell? And let's not gatekeep. If you've been a longtime fan of Chappell, there's no reason to gatekeep. We should celebrate her success. And I know that can be hard because it's something that feels like it belongs to us, but she belongs to everyone. And more people knowing about her, I think, is only for the best. To have, I think that she's a lesbian. If not, I think she's lesbian. I'm not trying to erase bisexuality. I'm fairly certain she's just straight up lesbian. Have you heard super graphic, ultra modern girl like me? I don't know if I got all those words in the right way. That's not one of my favorites, and that's okay. We don't all have to have the same favorite Chappell Roan songs. I'm like fearing for my life here. Like, we don't have to all like the same ones. It's not that I dislike that song. I like her. It's weird because most artists I like their faster songs, but for Chappell, I like her slower stuff. Well, I like Hot to Go. I love that we're spelling. But what song got you into Chappell, or what era did you get into Chappell? Were you one of the people who's like been going to Chappell shows for like the past 5 years and you're just like, yeah, everyone's just getting caught up? Or are you one of the people who went to the Olivia Rodrigo tour? Or did you find out about her from me whenever I was not being able to shut up about Good Luck Babe? Still can't sing along to that song. Thanks, Chappell. I want everyone to know that to wet everything, I'm using this setting spray that smells like watermelon. And if the white was big enough for me to get my sponge in there, I would do it. But if I put my sponge in there, it gets into the other colors, which we hate to see. And who are some other queer pop singers that we need to know about? Slater actually played, and I like know of Slater, but I've not been like a Slater fan. Like, I can't claim that I'm a Slater fan. But actually, I feel like that was the whole group I was with. We were like, we know of Slater. We don't listen to Slater, but she actually really killed it. I have yet to like check her out, but she's on my to check out list. And I'm sure like a ton of you are like, okay, like who the fuck are you? Like, you're not listening to Slater. Do you ever just put on a makeup look and you start like laughing? You're like, how absurd. Like, literally, how absurd is this? My skins look better. I'm gonna power through. Now my lips look so pigmented. I think I have pretty pigmented lips as it is. I wonder how long it took Donnie to do this makeup. I'm sure she had better tools than me. I mean, like, of course she did. You would hope. I hope she did. She probably isn't slumming it like me. I'm like, I want to do this makeup where I don't have the tools to do it. I also think there are going to be at some points in this look where I'm going to take artistic liberties. Like, I'm probably going to contour my face more than like Chappell's face is contoured. After you do makeup like this, you have to clean your brushes after, like immediately after, because your brushes are just like, ah! Oh my god. Oh, I hated that. Oh, I hate that. I don't know if that was, oh no. No, thank you. Okay, there was a spider smashed between these eyeshadow palettes. I want to die. So right now, I don't know if this is going to be the right thing to do. I'm using a powder from the Hindash Utopsy palette. I'm like in the shade Lines, which it's not a pure white. And yeah, kind of the same thing that happened with the liquid that I was just playing with is happening here, where like it's not all pure white. But I think I have a pure white eyeshadow somewhere. Okay, let's use it. Yeah. I don't use white shadows super often. This is just a single matte white eyeshadow from Viseart. I'm just kind of like putting it all over. It's to like set it, but mostly for me, it's like to fill in the gaps of how crappy my white application was. I think even what we need to remember is that even in these photo shoots, especially whenever you're just on YouTube trying to recreate a look, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not on Paper Magazine. Make sure you get your ears. Trixie Mattel always says. You can tell people who don't know what they're doing whenever their ears are completely untouched. And we have to pretend a little bit to look like you know what we're doing. I feel like I keep putting it on this side, but I just kind of want to see like how much better it looks even all over the body with the white. I also have a fan going because I think if I start sweating, we're in for it. I was thinking that I was a little annoyed by like the streakiness, but it kind of makes me look more like a painting, and we can say that it was an artistic liberty that I took. Although I think something that we also could do is spray my face, and that might help melt things in just a little bit, like the powder with the white base underneath. Yeah, it's like looking not great. I can hear everyone singing "Good luck, babe" to me from the other side. You know what's probably also really funny is there's probably some really, really talented YouTuber also doing this on the internet, or probably already has their video posted. That's like, this is how you actually do it. And I'm over here like, welcome to Hobby Lobby. I'm not so concerned about my eyelids. I'm sure you've noticed, but because we're going to be putting something much darker there later. Have any of you seen Chappell Roan? I've now seen her twice, but both times were this year. She came to Pittsburgh once, and then she came back for Pride, which is great. You know what's great? And this happens kind of like every year. Pittsburgh's Pride is normally like the first weekend. Some other places have Pride at different times of the year. Atlanta, I think they do theirs in September or October. That's what Cam said when they were here. It's probably because it's hot. Like, who wants to be out in June? And that'd be like, I'm sure Vegas can't do theirs in June, right? Okay, I am gonna spray my face with setting spray. But I'm gonna use not the watermelon setting spray because this one's more mattifying. And I'm gonna let that sit, and we'll see what that does. I forgot to spray my chest. I don't normally spray my chest with setting spray. Okay, I think that actually was a helpful choice that we just made. I'm ready and willing to move on. I mean, I think Chappell just has better cheekbones than me, which is fair. And it's not rude at all that she would do that to me on my channel. It's like not rude at all. Also, your vanity, if you ever do this kind of makeup, is just a mess. There are some people who do TikToks and are really good at transitions that like, you know, do all of that. I don't know how they do that. I don't have the patience for that. Couldn't be me. So like I said, I'm going to contour, and she's definitely like lit from the one side. That's more of like a photographing thing. Like that would be more of like a lighting situation whenever I take my photos later. But she like has, it doesn't look like she really has contour going on here. I'm going to take the gray side of this in the Beautopsy palette, and I'm actually going to mix it with the gray and the white. Just kind of like, it's like, I don't want it to be like incredibly pure. I can't tell if it's lighting or if there was also contour on the one side of the face, but like it looks like the one side of the nose is contoured. I think it's probably lighting. Probably. I guess I'm going to wear a headpiece, so I guess I don't need to contour here. I am going to do a little bit of gentle contouring on my cheekbones, just to like give them a little bit of a lift. I just want to create the illusion of a cheekbone, which is like, do you see what I just did? I feel like when we talk about contouring on like our skin tone, I think sometimes it's like harder to understand what we're doing. But do you see like the illusion? Of course, it's like more dramatic because I'm doing like gray on white, but that's the point, if you've ever wondered. I was wondering, I was like, why does it sound like I'm in water? There's water in this. I just didn't realize. I guess I don't, I don't normally violently pat things into my face with that brush like I am today. So I think that this pink will actually work. I'm going to mix it in with the gray. And I'm actually, which I don't normally do on my channel or like in my looks at all, I'm actually going to apply it to like the apples of my cheeks because it kind of is there. I went a little too high with the blush, and I need to like remember that I'm not doing my makeup. So I started like going up the side of my cheek, which I do for my looks, but that's not what this calls for. It's really hard whenever you're just so accustomed to doing your face a specific way that you like, oh no, I need to not. I used to do a series on my channel called Becoming. I don't do that series anymore. But I used to like try to mimic the makeup that other YouTubers were doing on their channel. Ooh, did I just like take off a bunch of white by scratching? Actually, I didn't. You know what's also going to be really interesting is like not wearing highlighter. I love highlighter. The restraint that Donnie showed, because if you've ever looked at Half Magic, and if you've ever watched Euphoria, you know how much this makeup artist loves sparkle. Loves sparkle. And yet here we are, no sparkle. Maybe there might be some on the eye. I'm gonna keep it matte though, because I think the part of the reason that this is such a striking image, like that it tickles my brain so much, is that it like has this like matte finish. Chappell's eyebrows look like they were glued down. I don't have any eyebrows, so I don't have to do that, which means that I'm gonna lose some of the texture, but that's okay. I'm not gonna try to recreate the texture. It does look like a really deep gray purple to me. I have it like zoomed all the way in, and that's what it looks like to me. Also, Chappell's skin also looks as dry as mine in this current look, but it looks more gray. I think I have a palette I just got recently that I think will have something like that. It also could be shiny, but I think it's like there's white in the center and then like a purple gray. I'm not sure if it'll be dark enough, but this in this Bella Beauté Bar palette, I think will be it. So I am going to prime my eyes because I have a feeling that like I'll get to the photos a little bit later. But I think honestly, if I was, recreating it, like I think it being creasy will be like, it would be a cool look. Like that's where this makeup would like head if you were wearing it for a long period of time. We're going to prime the lids. So my eyebrow starts right here. So the eyebrow that they drew on was higher, like right above where the eyebrow would be. So, okay, we're going to focus on the part of the eyes I just talked about first. And I'm going to try that cuff shade and see if it looks purple enough. I feel like that looks like it. And it's kind of like on the inside of Chappell's eye and on the outside, but not quite on the lid. I think the lid either has a shimmer that's reflecting back the light or it's just a white. There's a white in this palette that I'll use. Which, well, like I said, I think I want to keep everything matte. I just think that it's so stark. I really thought that I was going to be able to like talk about Chappell while I did this, but I simply didn't think that's the case. Yeah, I like the look of this shadow for this, so great. But I don't really know what to do between the space, like where my eyebrow would be if I had my eyebrows and the drawn on eyebrow. They purposefully left that texture in the photo. Like to me, it seems like they very purposefully, and I say this quote unquote, did a bad job gluing down her eyebrows in order to achieve that texture. Because it mostly just looks like they're laminated and they like threw some things over top of it. Often a drag performer will edit that out if they're doing a portrait. But I think that there's also a shade in here. It's the shade Nocturnal that will work for the under eye. It's kind of sooty. And the under eye is interesting because it looks almost like it's flaking off. There's like white also on some of the under eye. And it does kind of come to a point. And here's one of those things where it's like, I have to go out of my comfort zone to do my eyeshadow down low because I have pretty small eyes. And I feel like I'm always trying to not close off my eyes. It does look like she has like a white eyeliner in her waterline. I don't have that, which is okay. I'll just leave them empty. I feel like I went too far over on this side, so I'm gonna try to fix it. I think that's mostly it. I think it kind of looks like a bruise on her, but I feel like it more so it looks like a bruise on me for sure. if you, when I like zoom in on this part and like under her eye, it's like some of the white has like crept back up. Do you see what I mean? Like it's kind of like scuffed its way back up in there. I think I'm gonna do like a gray up into my brow line to take place of that texture. And like my eyebrow hair is like kind of grown out, but like I'm certainly not going to get like the level of texture that's in this photo. The other thing is you probably, whenever you're doing this kind of look, you want to probably want to start with clean brushes because it's like who knows what shade you used on a brush last time. It's so funny because I feel like doing this right now, it's like it is just kind of like smudging colors on the face, which it's not that I don't think that takes talent, but I feel like where the beauty community is and like how we do our makeup on the internet and how you see people do your makeup on the internet is like it's all about like this incredible precision. But I also think that whenever we see makeup like this, it's like that's the makeup that like sings to our heart. Yeah, that looks good. I think that was the move. It's like, wow, daring, unblended, like messy on purpose makeup. We're like, that's how makeup is. That's how makeup should be. So now we're to the eyebrow, which I'm not really probably going to have very much fun doing, if I'm being honest. It's not even precision line work. Like, and I don't think Donnie was like trying to do precision line work in this, but like for some reason, when we start having to do purposeful shapes, my brain's like, please no purposeful shapes. There's a black in that Kryolan that I'm going to use. She may have even done that with like a gel crayon. And now that I'm looking at it, I think she did that with like either a crayon, but it doesn't look like a liquid eyeshadow to me, like a liquid liner. Okay, I feel like I have to now do it to the other side, even though it was like definitely the wrong move. Chappell, is that you? Chappell, is that you? Okay, she also has like a mole that it looks like they drew back on. It's really hard whenever you're like working off something. I'm actually just gonna use eyeliner pencil. Sometimes when you do your makeup, you're just like, how do I get here? And how? So the black looks like a little bit green, but that also could be like the photo. It also could be, but I'm gonna go with straight black because as if my teeth don't look yellow enough. Well, hold on. Let me do a quick, make sure the edges of my mouth aren't, skin colored. You know what's so funny is that this makeup feels like it's gonna come off at any moment, like on its own accord, or it's never gonna come off. There's no in between with this makeup. It's gonna be one of those two things. Oh, I didn't put the white on my eyes. I forgot. I slipped my mind. She has a pretty sharp Cupid's bow. I don't think I'm gonna try to imitate that. I'm gonna set my face with some setting spray. And then I'm gonna put on my headpiece and I'm gonna show you before I sign off. And then I'm gonna go take some pictures. So this is like the final look. Close. So it's not exact, but like I think you could tell what it's inspired by. I'm kind of mad about this. I kept trying to clean up with white, and then the new white that it was putting down was like more stark than the other white. which was kind of like annoying. Like, how dare you? Also, if you follow me on Instagram, these pictures are probably already up. Oh, I'm gonna put on mascara too. I'm gonna do that first. I'm gonna do that and then I'm gonna spray my face and then we'll put on my headpiece that I tried to make. Because I think she probably is wearing really small falsies. Because it's like they're a specific pattern, the lashes. But they're not super big. They're not like drag lashes. Okay, now I'm gonna go get my headpiece. Life's so unserious, isn't it? Sometimes. Like there's always like a lot of serious things going on, but then there's people like me. Should it be shorter? Well, it is what it is. It is the piece that I made. Where's that other kid? It just simply does not want to be part of it. How dare you? Anyway, that wraps up the video. If you are new to my channel and you want to stick around, I would love to have you. My channel is mostly focused on loving my makeup collection as it currently is, while being critical of new makeup releases and things like that. So a lot of conscious consumerism happening here. I'm on Patreon and I have channel memberships if you want to support me. There's no pressure to, but you're welcome to. It's all up to you. And I just can't. I simply can't. Share this with anyone you might think will find this video amusing or entertaining. And I'm on Instagram at hautemesstom if you want to see how the final images came out. And that's that. That's that. Good luck, babe. Good luck, babe, if you're trying to recreate this look. Okay? Let's see. Let's get me. Gotta get myself together. Okay. Remember to follow your haute. And you'll find me. Go forth. Tits out.